calf and I'm the one that feeds the calves. And I was like, no.
In April.
Why did you get her AI? This is bad timing. Yeah. I was like, can I sell it? She's like, yeah. There's Scott. Welcome, Scott. Right on time. Right on time.
I was like, oh, this is awesome.
It's like a whole different room. Now I can see the screen better. That's all.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I can understand.
Is the audio working and not the video?
The vehicles are mid-coast, so we don't have to do anything.
Okay, perfect. So it's 6 o'clock, so I'm going to call the meeting to order. If everyone could join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great. Kale, go ahead and take roll call.
Here.
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 Scott Burke.
Here.
And we have Sheridan.
Here.
And so she's
Right. Is there any changes to the agenda?
Yes, we will not be having an action item for the English language proficiency curriculum. I learned some more information today, so I am taking that out of the agenda for tonight.
So number 8A is not going to be on the agenda.
Correct.
Okay.
And I will explain that in my report. Thank you.
All right, is there approval of the consent agenda with the change?
So moved.
All right, is there a second?
Second it.
All right, it's been probably moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll move into a vote. Larry?
Aye.
Ruby?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Mike? Aye for myself, motion passes. All right, presentations, SHS leadership. Eleanor, you're here. Welcome back.
Alrighty then. So we're in the home stretch. We've got graduation coming up. That will be on Saturday, June 8th at 2 p.m., I believe. Yes, I got it right. Very proud of myself on that. Everybody's welcome to that. Grades 9 through 11 get out a few days after seniors, after that week. And then everybody should look out for more information on award ceremonies and banquets for sports that are wrapping up. We don't quite have all the details on that just yet, but if anybody's interested in going to those are always open for people. Leadership has just held their prom this year. They had many students and some guests attend. They're moving into focusing on wrapping up the end of the year with just some good spirit stuff and all of that. The next big thing for them is moving into ASB and class-specific elections, which are going to be held shortly. So I don't know exactly when they're happening, but we've got signups happening right now, and we'll move into that process soon. The music program has 2 concerts coming up on the 29th and the 30th. That will be at FCS, both at 6:30, which will be combining both music programs, both for here in the middle school. The band concert is going to be on the 29th, and the choir concert is going to be on the 30th. So if you're interested in attending either of those, anybody is absolutely welcome and encouraged. Baseball and softball are wrapping up their seasons right now. They both have a handful of games to finish up due to cancellations and rescheduling throughout the season, but we're just looking at wrapping all of that up and moving into banquets and getting everybody finished up. And then track and field has had a incredibly successful season this year. Our main athletes for that have finished up, and we have 4 athletes who are going to be competing at state on Thursday. I believe they're going to be traveling to Eugene. Competing in the 100 meter will be Chloe Ayala. And then competing in long jump, we will have Asher Maxwell, Alex Martinson, and Taylor Yoder. And so we're really proud of them and sending them to Eugene to state. That's even more than we've had last year, and we're very excited for them. And then FFA has just held officer elections. We're really excited to congratulate Megan Whitehead, Logan Watkins, Diamond Steele, Peyton Thompson, Christina Casares Mendoza, Keely Bagby, Kaylee Creekmore, and Erica Casares Mendoza for joining that officer team for the upcoming school year. Coming this Thursday, the FFA will be holding their annual plant sale. That's going to be in the afternoons, both Thursday and Friday, and then from 9 to 3 p.m. on Saturday. So if anybody is interested in attending those, that will be welcome for everybody. I believe that with the weather holding, we are looking at holding that plant sale outside of the greenhouse behind the high school. So you should be able to go within the gated area during those times and buy plants that way. We have a great variety of stuff, both florals and vegetables, and a big selection of hanging baskets. So, and then the FFA awards banquet will be held on May 31st at the Barbara Roberts CTE building. I believe that is scheduled for 5 p.m., but do not quote me on that just yet because we're still figuring everything out just a little bit. If you would like to attend or you're interested in that, there is a Facebook event currently posted on our FFA chapter's Facebook that you can RSVP to, which will help us get an idea of how many people we can expect to make food for, and that would be incredibly helpful. Again, anybody is welcome to that. And that's kind of the rundown of what's going on for students and programs right now.
What time does the plant sale start on like Thursday?
On Thursday, that will be starting at 3:45, and on Friday, I believe that is starting at 2 to 6.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's a little bit earlier on Friday because no school, but again, afternoons both of those days, and then most of the day on Saturday. Of course.
All right. That's a lot of good information.
Yeah, kind of a lot, but it's the end of year, we got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah. Do you think you could get that FFA banquet invite sent out to the board?
I can do my best. Yes, absolutely. We're figuring everything out still. We're dealing with a lot, but I can absolutely try and get it.
Yeah. That way, if anyone wants to RSVP, they can.
Yes. Do my best.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you.
All right. Do we have any public input today? None. All right. Moving on. Admin reports. We're going to start with Pat Schrader with the high school.
Happy Wednesday. As Eleanor mentioned, we are on the final stretch. And I think if you look at the calendar, this is the longest stretch we have from spring break to the end of the school year, uninterrupted.
April's the worst.
Yeah, and so, no, it's when we get the most school and it's the best.
I mean, yes, it's the best.
But it's exhausting for students and for staff. So, everyone is looking forward to the coming weeks. But I did want to include in my report a historical look back because I know there's been a lot of conversation about enrollment in general. So I wanted to give you a perspective of where we're at. So I did a 3-year look back by month, so you can kind of see a trend, not only over those years, but also how the trend goes by month. I realize now, I'm glad the numbers are on this graph because if you like, for instance, if you look at March, it looks like there's half the students this year as there was the way the bar graph looks. but it's the scale is obviously from 0 to 250, I believe the actual graph was. So anyway, the numbers are there to give you a little bit more better perspective. But you can see that there is a general trend that we start you out there as well to recognize. Have an attendance update. Ironically, today I found out at about 8:05 a.m. that it was senior skip day. For the record, that is not a school-sanctioned holiday. It is. I'm sure many of you can remember that it's somewhat of a tradition in all high schools. So our attendance today was. We'll see if my numbers hold up that I put in here after today. But our numbers. This is the time of year we start. Like I said, it's a long stretch, and we start looking at attendance and seeing what's happening. And actually, it's nice to actually go in because your perception can be, one thing, but then when you actually go in and look at the data, you actually get a true picture. So right now, the old data that what the state used to track was the attendance rate, and I included that. Our attendance rate right now is 91.4%. Of students are. They changed that recently to what they call regular attenders, and I think it's probably a little bit more of a better measure. And a regular attender is any student who attends more than 90% of their enrolled school days. So that counts kids who started in September, but also counts kids who started in January at the second semester, that they're just showing up 90% of the time. And last year on our school report card, that number was 61% of our students were regular attenders. Right now, I have us tracked at 66% of our students are regular attenders. It's amazing to think that we do have 4 students. I know it doesn't seem like very many, but they haven't missed a single class period for any reason. Doctor's appointment, dentist appointment. There's no unexcused or excused absence on there. And those are kids who started in September. I only looked at kids who started on the first day of school. So I will want to recognize them at the end of the school year. Hopefully they keep it up. And hopefully none of them were seniors today. And then we have a total of 60 students. So, more than 25% of our students who have not missed more than 3 school days during the whole school year. So that's something that I'm really, it's nice to see that our students are attending. And that's because school is an important part of their lives and showing up. We are in the process of getting ready for next year. So as we wrap up this year, it's a continuous process. And part of that is forecasting in the high school, getting kids signed up for the classes that are both required to graduate and classes that they are interested in. And we call that process forecasting. It's funny with the 8th graders, a lot of them asked us, they told me it was sunny outside. But they were actually, I was up there yesterday and they were really excited to look at the electives and stuff that's available to them. So we also have, I included in the report a document we use because I don't know if you've ever seen a high school transcript. There's a lot of information on it, and it's just a lot of words. And for someone who's not familiar or looking at a transcript, it can be a little difficult to see all of what's on it and what's required. So we use this thing, we call it a credit tracker, and Miss Hazel, our registrar, she actually updates these every semester for all of our students. And as students receive credit, she fills in the box with the color of the year. So you can see here the salmon color freshman, the year in which their high school career, the year that they completed that course, and what course they completed. So they have a visual kind of reminder of just like checking boxes, basically filling in blocks, and then they can see where they're at and where they need to go. So I do appreciate Ms. Hazel's work, because that's a lot of work to keep these up to date and make them available to our students. So the things we added is we did want to make sure in this process that students who are pursuing that honors diploma can see the components that are required for that as well, per our policy regarding honors diploma and the requirements to get that versus an Oregon diploma. So some of the things coming up, important dates. I think Eleanor mentioned many of them. The concerts coming up on May 29th and 30th. It's always a fun one in the spring because it's a blended of the middle school and the high school. And it's up at the middle school. And I believe I'm performing in this concert. So, big reveal. And then, of course, I do have the FFA banquet being at 5 p.m. That's just what was on. So if there's something going on, I'm not sure. But I will also make sure that an invitation gets extended to you as well. We do have our senior awards scheduled for June 5th, where we have various scholarships that get awarded. Some things students are received that night. There's a couple of things we reserve for the actual commencement ceremony to recognize some students, but many of our awards and recognitions happen on the evening of the 5th at 6 p.m. That'll be in the cafetorium at the high school. I put 8th grade promotion on there because I'm going to be up there for 8th graders to be part of the process of welcoming them to the high school. And of course, like that, graduation on the June 8th, and it will be a snappy graduation. Oh, I didn't mention also, I do want to mention our valedictorians, Katie Kylo and Lily Gerke are our valedictorians, and Zoe Kennedy is our salutatorian for this year. So they will be, hopefully, they're preparing a speech. And officially, this is a big deal too for graduation. Mr. Swinehart, who has been elected before, in my understanding, as the staff speaker, or the one that the students elect a speaker. He has accepted their election and he will be speaking. He's very nervous about it, but Mr. Swinehart will be sharing his words of wisdom with the class of 2024. So.
And Facebook does say 5 to 7 for the banquet.
Okay. I guess it's going to be 5 to 7 now.
That's official.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
Facebook official.
Facebook.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks.
All right, next up is Student Health Services, Alana Russell.
My name's Alana. I know pretty much everyone here. My other partner in the school health services is Erin. She's not able to be here tonight, but I think you have all met her as well. I am your district nurse. So I'm going to start with a just quick overview for the year of what our student health services have looked like for this year. And this is what I would consider the baseline for student health services. This is what we want it to look like every year as far as the components that we should be touching on with a robust health services team. So our team right now is made up of myself as your RN, and I'm 0.5, and Erin is 1.0. She is based out of the Faulkner Chapman Health Room. She's there full time. Which has been one thing that's been really, really beneficial, I think, this year. And I'll tell you more about why. But that was our big change this year, was adding her full time to that space. Our caseload right now, and by caseload, we mean students that have identified medical conditions. This can range from our students with mild asthma or allergies all the way up to students with severe seizure disorders or diabetes and things like that. We have 113 that are identified that we monitor regularly. And of those, 45 are what we consider medically complex, meaning that they have some risk for a life-threatening event. 22 of them are medically fragile, meaning they're at daily risk for a life-threatening event. We also track what we call incidentals. Starting in January, we've tracked those very efficiently. They're hard to keep track of, but those are kids that come in with a cast on because they broke their leg over the weekend and things like that that aren't necessarily going to be long-term chronic illnesses, but we certainly want to be monitoring them and checking in with them. So they contribute to a lot of what we do as well. Our health room visits, we have also been able to track those really well this year, thanks in large part to Erin and her time. We see about 20 to 25 students across both buildings in our health room per day. I can't even pretend like most of those are me. 90 to 95% of those are Erin and the work that she does in the health room at Faulkner Chapman, and it's really amazing. And when you think about each of those kids taking about 10 minutes or so, even for something really minor, to kind of get to the heart of what's going on, communicate with families, and document it properly. That's a large chunk of her day that goes towards supporting the kids and almost always getting them back to class. On average, we have about one kid that goes home per day of those visits. And so most of them need a little TLC, and then they're able to go back to class and finish their day, which is great. We also conducted our universal screenings for our kindergarten through third grade, which was 216 students total. This was the first year that our team was able to conduct universal hearing screening. So that was a really big change with our increased capacity. That's certainly a best practice, but it's not something that the nursing team has done historically. But we were able to purchase audiometers and do it ourselves this year. And just anecdotally, I can tell you, I know of at least one student who has made it through multiple grades and was identified to be have almost total hearing loss in both ears that had never been caught before. So this is the first time we were able to do that. We were able to do a lot of follow-up with those screenings too. So outside of that, just kind of bare bones, what we want our services to look like, we were able to focus on three main goals this year, primarily through the lens of our school nursing pilot grant, which was that $60,000 annual grant that we started last year and we carried into this year. The first goal was to expand our care coordination services. And so what this looked like this year was improving our follow-up and referral process for screenings. We were able to contact every single family that had a student that did not pass the screening and provide them with referral services if needed. At Faulkner Chapman, we send out a weekly request for referrals for students with health concerns. At the high school, I've had the bandwidth to participate in our interdisciplinary care team, so getting the student health services involved in that as well and referring out when necessary. We were also able to increase substance use support, and this was I think my favorite thing this year. This was my big goal. We had goal was very straightforward. It was hire a health assistant, and we did it at the beginning of the year. So really, that opens space. Moving into next year, when we're talking about this pilot program, we're still a part of it. We're still going to be getting $60,000. We're supposed to create another 3 goals. I would recommend that 2 of them stay within that health promotion and care coordination space. I think there's a lot to be done there still. But this third goal, we have this big opportunity. And so I really wanted this to be student driven. I want to know what the students would like us to be focusing on related to their health and their services. So we are setting up a focus group to speak with our students, and we're going to kind of overlay that with student surveys we've collected in the past as part of this process to try to identify what might be a good third goal that is guided by what our students would like to see us do. Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Alana. 1 minute, Alana.
Yes.
You don't get to leave the table just yet. Alana is moving her career in a little bit different direction, down the road wanting to teach university and do some other things. You currently have how many interns?
Right now, 5. This semester we had 11.
So we refer to it as Alana and her interns, and they just follow her everywhere. And they get to sit in on the meetings, and they're helping with the health fair. And I got to meet several of them yesterday when we walked down to Barbara Roberts. But Alana, I just wanted to thank you publicly. And there'll be another, celebration and send off and all that. And Alana also has a special heart for pets and animals, and she fosters dogs. And when I was thinking about something that I wanted to give you just as a gift and recognize, I thought you could use Petco. So
I single-handedly fund Petco.
current dog is off the street.
I would do it.
Just a little bit of it.
Yes, we will miss.
Thank you.
All right, next up is our superintendent report.
All right. Well, good evening. Hard to believe we are into May. All my superintendent reports are on a file folder, and it's like, wow, okay. It just continues to fly by. And the fact that I'm finishing up my 4th year, and just a lot of reflection of 4th year, thinking about working with Alana my first 2 years, a lot of what we went through as a district. So it's exciting to get to a strategic plan, and I am really, really pleased with where we're at. I did provide you with a hard copy of what it looks like right now with those pillars. Those goal statements are 5 years out, and Brent will be coming for a board work session in July to walk through the strategic plan with the entire board. But I did want to give you a heads up on what has been going on. So on Monday, I did a community meeting. I invited our budget committee members to come and have dinner. I invited some parents, and we had a pretty good group there. And what I did was I walked through the process of what we've been doing this year. And there should be green check marks at every line there, except for the July, the last two. But this has been our work with Brent for the entire year, and just to update our community on that. And then also just talking about how we gathered the information to come up with our pillars and our 5-year goals. So many of you remember we had a meeting where it was the board in here with the district leadership team, and there was the posters that were created. That generated a list of items that combined with the other focus groups. And Brent prepared this so that you can see out of our focus groups, we had over 70 people participate. And there was a licensed focus group when they were here in October, our district leadership team and the board, classified, parent, and then we did a community, we did student focus groups and a parent focus group. And then once all of that information was compiled and we had long lists that the district leadership team put into categories, that was sent out, Studer sent that out in a community survey. And we had 120 participants, 4 pages of comment and input that then was shared back with the district leadership team. And that's how they arrived with the 5-year goal statements. At the same time, we were also working on leadership development with Studer and completing some leader rounding and some of those other protocols so that we're continuously getting feedback from our employees. So there's the draft strategic plan. And we're going to be diving into these, and under each of these, we'll have year-long goals that we will then create a scorecard to measure. And there's things certainly that we are learning from our employees, from rounding and from our survey data, from our students and survey data that will become action items under these for next year. All right, and then a very brief update on Roberts Career Tech. We do have our spring dessert. The last time I checked, we had 38 people who RSVP'd. I know of at least 10 to 12 that did not do the RSVP, but are planning to come. We have commissioners coming. We have Representative Gomberg, Representative Elmer. We have staff from Congresswoman Salinas' office attending as well. And we will also recognize the Hampton Lumber donation with the large checkboard and celebrate that. And Barbara Roberts will be speaking. And Dr. Jessica Howard from Chemeketa will open with a welcome to talk about the importance of CTE. All right, and then our site development plan, it was approved by the city of Sheridan. And just in this last week, we're getting closer to a full set of construction plans, which that's really where we wanted to be, having just about spent the 1.4 million that we received from the Yamhill County Board of Commissioners. So now they're moving into things like the technology. So what will the technology be at Barbara Roberts? And a meeting was scheduled for next week to get into the details on that. So they're just fine tuning everything for that set of construction plans. I was hoping to be able to report tonight any information about donated materials, and I have not heard. So that's the blank space that I had saved. And I was like, well, I don't know. So as soon as we hear about that, I know there's still some conversations happening with donations for the rock from Riverbend and a couple other companies as well. So more on that. Okay, so the English language proficiency curriculum, the note that I put down there, the Amplify reading curriculum that we adopted 2 years ago has the ELP standards. What has been unclear to me is how you navigate ODE with English language proficiency curriculum requirement when your ELA curriculum requirement has that with it embedded. And I was just diving into this today. So I'm not comfortable putting to the board of to adopt something that we may not even need. So I had found record of discussions about the English language proficiency curriculum. This is the curriculum that students, that is used when students are learning English. And we have 12 students, emerging bilingual students, grades K through 6. So for those students, however, for the K-5 students, they're getting that through their English, their reading curriculum, the Amplified. Does that make sense? So the reading curriculum has those standards embedded in it. I'm trying to figure out from ODE, what do I need to submit to show that we have the curriculum needed? So that's why I'm just going to put this on hold. I'll have more information for you next month. And I'm also updating all of our curriculum with the deadlines, with the rotation. It's in a 7-year rotation from the state. Here's what we adopted. Here's what's coming next. And that way, just to get us on track.
Do we need to vote to postpone this one as well? Because you have the math one.
The math one, we do need to postpone. So I can go on to explain that.
But this one, we don't need to do any action
No.
right now.
No.
You're good timeline.
Yes, timeline, we're fine. Technically, we were already out of compliance. I'm trying to get us back into compliance the easiest possible way. So that's where I need to get with ODE and figure out how to navigate this. And even when I contacted the person at Division 22, and I asked her this question, and she was like, well, that's a great question. Like, okay, are we the only one to kind of struggle with this? And then I'll get the samples and have the teachers have the time to do it. So, and then that way I'll also have a better idea of our cost part for next year's budget and see what we can do.
Is this part of the curriculum that we approved here a couple of years ago that was like $250,000?
That was reading. That was reading. And it seems like it's every other year there's going to be a curriculum that needs to be approved. But that was a big purchase. And I remember Judy talked about, will the company allow us to split the payment? And they did. And that was.
So how long is that good for then?
That's 7 years.
7 years.
Yep. So you've got world languages, you've got science curriculum, social studies, English language proficiency, math, reading, health. I'm trying to think. I think that's all of them. And they literally just rotate through. And there's this whole schedule.
So the company that you were getting this potential company that you were going to get this from never gave you any of the information?
It was just late coming in. There were 3 or 4 vendors that we wanted to try, 3 or 4 different companies.
And when did that start?
We started reviewing the information back in like November, but by January, we had started to select, okay, we want to get these more time. And, and Adam was like, ideally by after spring break, we have the materials here to let teachers try them out in lessons.
So do you think that short a period of time from February till the end of the school year is long enough to get any knowledge of how this would work?
It isn't. Well, and you're relying on how it's rated. That's a large part of it. But part of it too is teachers getting their hands on it. And with math curriculum, especially for elementary, it can come with a lot of stuff. And you don't want to pay for a lot of stuff if you're not going to use it. I mean, I've been through curriculum adoptions with math that literally as a first grade teacher, you would get a box of manipulatives, blocks and things for counting and things for math numeration. And you got to figure out how you're going to organize that and how you're going to use it. So this is where the teachers really wanted time to dig in and explore it. So we can start that in the fall. But because this is the adoption year, I need to submit a request that we're postponing until next year. And that request, when I opened and looked at it, said, what date did the board approve that you were going to postpone this? So that's why that's why I'm coming to you today, that we need to postpone the math curriculum.
You know, it seems to me like we adopt a curriculum and then every 2 years we change, we pay a lot of money for something, and then 2 years, 3 years later, we're changing it again. Can we just keep one thing, keep it going?
Well, we should be using it for 7 years.
Yeah.
So since I've been here, we've only done the ELA adoption. We missed world languages, so we had to play catch up on that. That is the curriculum for our high school Spanish instruction. And now I'm trying to figure out the English language proficiency curriculum that should have been adopted in the year 21-22, is what I learned today. That was not a year I was thinking about curriculum adoption. We just reopened. So, but there is a whole schedule, and that's what I want to present to the board next month.
When was the math last adopted then?
Like 2018. It would have been long before I got here. 17. And there are districts that end up not going through the adoption process. But this is becoming more and more and more a state requirement. And we didn't used to see this. When I became curriculum director in Central, the district had saved up money for curriculum, and they had not formally adopted any curriculum in about 10 years. But that was also the period of time where everybody was making cuts. So if you remember 2008, 2009, 10, 11, schools were making significant cuts and nobody was adopting curriculum. And the person I was talking to today at ODE said, Dory, you're not the only district, and there is a path that we can work with you to get you back on track.
But being budget minded.
Yeah.
We really need to consider that aspect too, because.
Yeah.
We had to make some cuts this year, and we might have to make cuts next year.
Right. Right.
So if you do get this curriculum you want, can you get it out earlier so the teachers can?
Yes, definitely.
But by postponing it, that'll give them.
I mean,
a year. Right?
Yeah, we'll have next year. So the
This
goal.
stuff is vital for these kids to
Yeah.
learn. I mean, and if we just hold off on it, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not saying we're holding off, but if we don't
Yeah.
get them
Yeah.
into this sooner, then what's the point?
Right, right. No, and we can start, but we'd have next year. So this time next year or in April, I would be coming to you with a curriculum adoption for approval. Cal?
Yeah, sorry, I was just gonna add, I requested samples at the end of November. That's it.
Yeah,
When did you get them done?
it took a while. They started coming in, and then our core team reviewed them, and then we wanted to get more samples so classroom teachers could try it.
So do you get these samples in August?
Yeah.
Or the previous year? I
Mhm.
mean,
So that we can get started on them and have them try them.
yeah,
And
I
then
mean,
throw it
earlier
down.
the better.
And some of it too is we really would like to involve more of our, having the time for parents, because math instruction can also be, there's some curriculum that is very, very different in math instruction, and it can really vary from community of what parents. So we need that time for parents to become aware and preview it, see it, what we're going to be doing, why we're picking this curriculum, and just have that time.
So to move forward, is it gonna cost us any more money?
Well, what Adam has done is he's alerted Karen and I of the cost for renewal, because there's yearly renewal for some of our curriculum. That's in the budget. So that part is covered. When you do a whole new different company, then that is where it gets to be more expensive. And that's why for the English language arts curriculum, we split it into 2 years. And the company was able to work with us on that.
Plus, they were really slow getting it rolled out.
Yes, they were. And then they gave us another discount and they sent us more free material because it took them like 5 months to get it to us.
Which might be the same case with this, which is another reason to postpone it.
Right. And give ourselves next year. Okay, but next month, I've got a table started that shows the curriculum, the adoption years, and then what the district did at each of the grade level bands that I can find historically, and then where we're at.
Could we figure out by then which parts of those are state mandated? Are they all state mandated? Like you said, they're becoming more and more.
Yeah.
Is there,
Every year, there will be another one, probably in Division 22.
so
That
everything is on the 7-year cycle and that part is mandated, that's what you're saying?
Mhm, mhm. Yeah. And that's new. I had not seen that in Division 22 several years ago. All right. And then I also included some year-end events. So you're getting it 3 times, that there's all these really fun events that we have to end the year. I will be sending out some information about the high school plan, graduation, plan to be there probably around 1:30, 1:40, that we line up and we get ready to walk out there as a group. 8th grade promotion is a full hot gym. It's a fun time. They do a great job. Parents really chip in to decorate the place. It's a very fun celebration. So, and I've always enjoyed the FFA banquet. That's a big community event. Our community comes out to support that one, and that is a great turnout. So I encourage you to attend that as well. And that is my report for tonight. And then we do have truck driving simulators. So Sean reminded me, if any board members would like to schedule a time with me to go try out a truck driving simulator, just let me know.
Where are they located?
Evidently bring your grandma, is what I heard.
Building 1.
Oh, okay.
They're over in Building 1. There's 2 of them in a small room. This is where we're putting them temporarily. And I have had a meeting with Media Mill, which is the new media company that moved into the event center. And they're going to do a promo video complimentary of our dessert and event. And then I'm also talking to them about doing some kind of a promotional video use of our truck driving simulators and just try to leverage that. So yeah, just let me know if you want to go see one of those. They're pretty cool.
All right.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments for Dory? Hearing none, we'll move into our fiscal report. Karen?
We're just moving along. As you know, we're working on the budget for next year. We've got a major e-finance software update, and that's the software that I use to do the budget, payroll, fund accounting, AP, all that stuff. So Emily and I went to a training session and just kind of saw some of the stuff, but it's always a little bit scary when you're moving to it, kind of a different platform. But I'm doing interim audit stuff. So the auditors are going to come sometime in June, I think, come to the office and try and get some of the pre-audit work done. I heard in one of my meetings that there are some school districts that have not gotten their audit completed for 22, 23. So I'm thankful they're going to come and start working on it. I've got 2 resolutions. The first one is so that we can accept the Hampton Lumber money. And then the other one is, I was looking back through like older resolutions and I saw ones where if we get like more state school fund than we had anticipated, we have to do a resolution to say, oh, we're getting more money. Now we got to be able to spend it. So that's what this one's for, because of the enrollment changes from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, like our small high school grant, we get all these different grants. So that's basically what this is. It's just saying, thank you for more money. And we had to increase the charter school payment because their enrollment was increasing. So the portion that they get also increased. And that's what those 2 are for. And yes, it's like a downhill slide to the end of the year. And then we've got all the fiscal year stuff to do end of year and start a new year. So all good. I know, I can't believe I'm starting my 4th year here. It's crazy.
Time flies when you're having fun.
But you know it.
All right, any questions for Karen? All right, moving into new unfinished business. We have the summer board conference, August 9th through 11th. Is that in Redmond?
Salem.
Oh, it's in Salem. Perfect. That's nice. That's right. Ruby went last year, right? Yeah, I'm always out. I'm at County Fair. But I did read an email from the Small Schools Caucus that they will have a meeting there. And I thought it would be really cool if we had someone there to be present, since we are a small school. And I'd also like to make sure that our Barbara Roberts is kind of on their radar, because CTE for small schools is hard, and that definitely should be one of their points of action, which I understand it is on their list of concerns. I didn't know, anyone willing to go?
I don't think I.
You don't think you can?
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be here.
You won't be here?
Nope.
Mike, there?
In my top.
They have really good food.
And we're down to you, Larry.
Hey,
It's
if
on
I'm-
your shoulders.
You know what?
Are you going to Mexico?
No, we're not going to Mexico this year because health reasons, but if I'm around, I'll go.
Okay. At least it's just Salem, so you can pick and choose what you want to go to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's sign
Well,
Larry
They
up.
had good
We'll get you
food.
the agenda and get you
That's awesome.
registered.
Thanks for being there for us, Larry.
Just tell me how we
You just
go
gotta,
up to Barbara Roberts.
we'll talk to you about
He
it.
needs a baseball cap.
Yes, we'll get you a baseball cap.
Yeah.
Parent hand up.
I'll make you one.
Yeah.
We'll give you some hats
Flyers.
to hand out.
Flyers.
Flyers.
We need
That would
little
be great.
stickers too.
Yeah. All right, next up is action items. So we have the policy packet up first, right? So I hope everyone has had the chance to review it. It's 98 pages long. Yeah, it wasn't a lot of fun to read through, I'll tell you that much. But thank you guys for taking the time to go through that and get it done to present. This is what's mandatory, correct?
These are the required policies. Next month, we hope to have a set of the highly recommended policies. This was another, OSBA sends out 2 major policy packets a year. So,
And a lot of it was just verbiage changing, restructuring sentences, like it wasn't really that big of a deal. So did you guys have any feedback you wanted to share with the group before we go forward?
Yeah, it really is, like I said, it's a lot of required edits. A lot of it is like non-discrimination, sexual harassment, background checks. The only things we really debated for any amount of time were, word usage, whether it's like shall or may. And it's like, okay, we always gonna do this? We legally bound by this, and it's, trying to make some common sense decisions based on the new language, but there's nothing really groundbreaking. Like, in the past, we've tabled our discussion and said the whole board should ponder this, but we really didn't encounter anything that seemed like it was worth a huge discussion. But if anybody has any questions about any of it, we certainly could talk about it. Yeah.
Did we delete the HR specialist position?
no,
Oh, okay.
the person with, is on FMLA leave, family leave.
It's on
I thought it was-
Oh, it is 0.5. We have reduced it to 0.5. Sorry, we did not
Will that
eliminate it.
affect that? They're making her a,
No, because she'll still be,
Who
you report to.
yep, she'll still be the 0.5. That's why we decided to still
She's still
include her.
HR.
Yep, she's still HR.
Good question.
Yep, good catch.
Any other questions? No? All right, is there a motion to accept the policy packet as presented? Is
So moved.
there a second? All right, it's been properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll move into a vote. Larry?
Aye.
Ruby?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Aye for myself. Motion passes. Next, we need a vote to postpone the math curriculum adoption. Is there a motion to do so?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I second.
All right, it's been properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll move into a vote. Larry?
Aye.
Ruby?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Aye for myself. Motion passes. Next is Resolution 24-07. This is the Hampton lumber donation. Is there a motion to approve the resolution as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll move into a vote. Larry?
Aye.
Ruby?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Aye for myself. Motion passes. Hey, we spent $1 million now. Huge thank you to Hampton Lumber on that one. Yes. Next is resolution 24-08. These are those additional funds that Karen was referring to a few moments ago. Is there a motion to approve the resolution as presented?
I move it to be presented.
Okay, is there a second?
A second.
Perfect. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. Larry?
All right.
Ruby?
Aye.
Scott? Mike? Aye for me. Motion passes. Any topics for the next meeting that are on your guys' mind?
A question, just because it's that time of year when we get close to talking about officers, and there's some question about when we do that. Maybe we can clear that up before or at
When
the
we
next
do it?
meeting.
We should
Yeah.
be able to refer to policy and see.
I think we should,
Yeah.
yeah. I just want to make sure that either if it's on the agenda or,
Yeah, Dory and I will make sure we review policy on that.
And next month will be the budget hearing, will be incorporated in hopefully to our board meeting.
Correct.
Fingers crossed.
It will.
Maybe.
Any other topics? Cruel. Larry just wants to keep her sweating over there. Okay, we're gonna move into board comments. I'm gonna start with our student board member because it's her first time being here and up here with us. And I just wanted to give her the floor for a few minutes, talk about any concerns that maybe you're seeing in the school or hearing, anything you'd just like to bring to our attention. If there's nothing, it's okay as well.
Yeah, I don't have.
Okay. Well, keep your eyes and your ears open because we would like to hear what's going on, so. So one of the things I thought about too is, as Alana is going to be working on that focus group for the, another health goal for next year, for you to be thinking about that and talking with other students about what would be a good goal. And then feel free to contact Alana as well, or myself. I think that'd be awesome.
I've never met you.
It's a good head
I'll come right.
I think it's a good thing that you've never met her.
Just spends a lot of time in your trips, probably building.
All right, so we'll move into board comments. Larry, you got anything?
Nope.
Ruby?
Just an update on the Ed Foundation. They are prepping for hometown days and the bounce houses, seeking volunteers if anybody's interested. And I think that's about it.
all right. Thanks for the budget book that I found here. And if they're out there, anybody, thanks to the budget committee and for everybody for showing up for 2 meetings and all the work people put in so far. We got one more to go. Hopefully one more. We'll see.
Mike?
I've sat in on a lot of the senior projects this year. It was real nice because it's such a small class and it went by real fast. What about what's gonna happen next year? Because it's almost doubling the senior.
Well, I would have been there, but I was up in Portland, so
Yeah.
that'd be kind of rough.
Yeah, the sun was shining. I'm a farmer.
Some interesting, some, I think they started in the hallway before they walked in. It's interesting. We're gonna for next year.
I'll make sure my next one for you.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. We're excited. All right, I don't have anything to report either, so our next meeting is June 12th at 6 p.m. So we'll see you there, and there's a whole bunch of upcoming events that Dory's mentioned at least 3 times, now 4. So I hope to see you guys at a bunch of these events. In the past, I've been the only one at a number of them, so I'd love to see more of you guys show up if you can make it, including you. So we will see you at some. Perfect. Yeah, so it is 7:01 and I'm going to adjourn the meeting.
Thank you. So I'm gonna try to go to that fishing thing.